What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my college basketball Week 10 top 25. And as you can see here, dropping from my rankings, Cincinnati, Georgia, and Baylor all with losses last week. They're, just missing the cut here this week. Obviously, Cincinnati's in the others receiving votes as well. But Utah State, UC, San Diego, Nebraska, Vanderbilt as well. All these teams are playing really good basketball so far this year. Let's see if they can keep it up this week in some conference games. 21 through 25. You find three of these teams are coming off of losses from the week before. Oregon gets destroyed at home to Illinois, so they're moving down 10 spots, but they responded well with a good win over a decent Maryland ball club. Purdue gets back into the rankings after getting two wins in the conference. Like I said, they get Nebraska this week on Saturday, a good team that just missed the cut. UCLA lost to that Nebraska team, they're falling five spots, and they get Michigan and Maryland. So big week for the Bruins here if they want to keep their ranking in the top 25. Arkansas, good win against Oakland, and then just got destroyed this weekend against Tennessee. I didn't drop them out yet because it's a big week for them this week. I don't want to put them out, and then they go 2-0 and they're right back in. So they get Ole Miss and Florida this week. So it's a big week for Arkansas in SEC play to start their year. And then Pitt quietly 12-2 gets Duke early this week, so that'll be a good game to watch on the road in Cameron. If Pitt can keep that one close, they'll definitely earn a lot of people's respect. 16 through 20, you get three Big Ten teams here: Michigan State, Illinois, and Michigan. And Illinois jumps way back up in the rankings, like I said, beating Oregon by a ton on the road and still beating Washington on the road. So they return home this week to get Penn State and USC, some weaker Big Ten opponents. And talk about Big Ten opponents. Michigan going on the road to play UCLA. They get Washington at home. Michigan State gets Washington at home, and then they play Northwestern. So I think, the state of Michigan basketball is thriving right now. Their two teams are ranked here in my top 20, and they're playing some good basketball early on. Now, Ole Miss gets a big win over Georgia to move up five. Georgia was a good basketball team, obviously fell out of my rankings here. They get Arkansas on the road. Tough game, especially with Coach Cal. And then coming off of a loss, they have a lot to prove. Then Memphis finding ways to win ball games, destroyed FAU, and then squeaked one out against North Texas. 11 through 15, you kind of get a little bit of changing here. Gonzaga moves up after their three wins and other teams falling. Kansas falls after their heartbreaking loss at home to West Virginia. Mississippi State moves up with teams falling. Same with Houston and UConn. And UConn pulled out a squeaker at home against Providence. I don't think it's the same UConn team that we're used to seeing here in recent years because normally they don't really have those kind of games that we've seen in back-to-back years. But it still is early on in the season. They're 4-0 in Big East play, so no need to really be nitpicky with them. 6 through 10, however, you have two teams that got, not blown out, but Oklahoma did. But Florida really wasn't in the game. It kind of felt like, I mean, at least from my perspective, I just didn't think Florida really had a good chance to win that game. Kentucky, really controlled that one, at least from what I saw. Bama, like I said, destroyed Oklahoma, so they're obviously ahead of Oklahoma. Marquette, two solid wins, one on the road at Providence, beating Creighton, was projected a top 25 team this year. Coming into the year, they're 13-2, and I think they could make a lot of noise. That Marquette team is sneaky good. They've done it the last few years. Just hung around, been behind UConn, been the two team in the Big East. And come March Madness, they've really shown that they can play some good basketball. And Texas A&M jumps into the top 10 with their win over Texas. Not just a win, a statement win, a dominant win in their first SEC game, a rivalry game as well. Now they get Oklahoma and Alabama this week. If they can go 1-1, it's a good week for them as well. Then 1 through 5, the top two stay the same with Tennessee and Auburn, destroying their opponents this week. Iowa State gets a good win on the road at Colorado and then destroys Baylor at home there to get to 12-1 to start conference play at 2-0. Kentucky beats Florida, so hands them their first loss, so that's why they're moving in here to the top 5. And then Duke did enough to get back into the top 5. And Tennessee, like I said, has a game at Florida, which is a tough game. Auburn playing two tough road games this week, tough environments. I guess you could say Kentucky as well, going on the road at Mississippi State. Not really known for its basketball program, but they're playing really good this year. And who knows, it'll be a good environment, I'm sure, because the basketball program is actually really good this year. And, Kentucky, a top 5 teams coming into town. And then Duke gets two games at home this week in Cameron. That Pitt game, like I said earlier in the week, is a game you probably want to watch because Pitt will play them tough. But that's going to be it for my Week 10 top 25. Check back next week to see if your team made the rankings. But until next time, the Bench Buddies are out.